So was there ever a point in your life, have you ever faced some trauma where you wish there were a God?
Honestly, no.
No?
No. Part of it is because I'm an American. I was raised in the 20th century, so sort of the milieu that I grew up in, so the religious culture that I grew up in was vaguely Christian, even if we weren't Christian. Right. And so I read the Bible, and I read the Bible young. Mm-hmm. And
good story.
I actually kind of disagree. If that's God, if that's the kind of stuff that God does, then that's not somebody I want help from.
That doesn't mean it's not a good story.
Well,
I like Moby Dick. I don't want to be chasing whales all the time, but it's a good story.
Fair enough. I'd say there are good stories within it. It's
right.
sort of an anthology.
Right.
But and there's a couple places. I mean, there's the Golden Rule. They don't always get it wrong. Right. But the sort of the spiritual side of it, the part where God comes down and especially in the Old Testament kicks ass, takes names. Right. That's not somebody I really wanted on my side. Yeah. Personally, and this again, we're sort of off the atheist reservation. Now we're talking about my personal philosophies. Right. Is when there has been trauma, and there has been some. For me, it's about weathering it, standing up, and doing the best, and just sort of taking responsibility for what I can, and doing the best I can with it. Wow. And at that point, it's something I hear about a lot. Is well, you know, some traumatic thing happened to me. And I turned to God, and I was saved. Well, if that God exists, why did the trauma happen to begin with? Right. Why, if God is capable of helping you through the trauma to begin with, why does it take trauma to convert you? Perhaps there's some other way that doesn't manifest as insane amounts of pain.
God hasn't
suffering.
figured that one out.
Well,
I'll tell you my little alley for potential belief here is that I'm not crazy about that God either, because that God doesn't make sense. I mean, it's supposed to make things right, and then the trauma, the pain, whatever. But I do like the practical Joker God.
Right.
Because that I can relate to. The God that tells someone, go up the mountain, sacrifice your son. Because I think that, love that one.
Wow, yeah, great.
That's a good one.
I had a bet.
That one.
I had a bet and I lost.
Because that's a God I can relate to. That's the God I went to school with.
Right. No, I understand that. The whole Job story is like, yeah, I could see the guys in the locker room trying to pull that one off.
See? That's what I go with. So if people want to know more about atheism, if they want to unenlighten themselves, as it were, what should they read? What should they see? Other than your show, Ask an Atheist, at all times, which you can see at askanatheist.tv. Well,
it's really hard to say. Everybody likes to suggest Dawkins. The God Delusion is a good place to start. Hitchens, Sam Harris there's a lot of authors out there right now that have a lot of
Sam
good
Harris,
books
not Sam J. Harris, the singer, because you don't want to get those two confused.
It'd be nice if that happened, though. Honestly, to me, the atheist movement that we were describing is really, you can read about it and get all the philosophical positions, but it's really hard to see what it's like just from books. So I always say, read the books, get the idea of what the thinking out there is, and then participate in the community. Just show up at an event, go to a meetup, hang out with us, and see what it's like. Because these things is we talk about Hitchens, we talk about Dawkins, we talk about Harris a lot, but they're not prophets. They're not. What they say is not dogmatic. It's not set in stone. There's a lot of reasons to become an atheist, and I find. One of the most reasons that people become an atheist is one of the reasons a lot of people become an atheist is they just can't. They're not really coming to atheism so much as they are going away from something else, and those are personal reasons. And no book is gonna fill that in for you. So I tend to prefer to get my understanding of a community sort of experientially than just from books. So
I love that. I would say I don't care what God you believe in. I just think act with common decency, and then it doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for joining us, Sam Mulvey.
Thank you.
You are fantastic, whether or not you are a heathen.